Well, it was business as usual for the Hoosiers on Saturday night, prime time, in front of everybody, wasn't it?
What do you mean business as usual? I mean, that was a business type ass kicking that Iowa gave them. It seemed like they showed up on the business. What kind of...
Indiana takes the ass kicking that I think we've all been waiting for. Let's get into talking about it.
Pretty simple. I win.
For three on the way.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Indiana Sports Connection. I am your residential anchor, Aaron. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being part of this Indiana Hoosiers community on here. And Hillbilly Monkey, these games are... How many games like this do Indiana play? I mean, on a yearly basis. I mean, normally they play about 32 games. We normally get about 6 or 7 of these, it seems like, out of Mike Woodson every year, does it not?
Mike Woodson on the business end of many ass kickings, and this is just one of many. Zach Osterman, I was reading his article.
You were reading an article?
Yes, I was reading his article, and he told how many bad games they've had, and it's embarrassing.
You're damn right it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, and it is getting so hard to watch this team. It really is, and to stay, engaged. I love doing the channel. I love, Indiana basketball, and that's never going to change, and I'm always going to make videos about Indiana basketball, but... what we go through with fans, we're going to get into talking about it. But first, hit that subscribe button down below. Thank you so much for being here at Indiana Sports Connection, where the most passionate and legendary fans come to comment about the games, comment about everything, and we come here to discuss it. So thank you so much for being here and subscribing. Hit that thumbs up button. Let's get this video out to a lot of Hoosier fans because, hey, every little bit helps with the change that we know we want to make. I don't know. Are we losing fans? Are we gaining fans? I'm going to tell you. I saw somebody comment the other day and they said, can I just root for another team? And I'm going to tell you, I saw a little kid today walking down the street with an Indiana shirt on. And in the back of my head, I thought, that poor bastard. He's going to be sitting in this chair soon. Can we turn it around before that kid grows up thinking that all of Indiana basketball sucks the big donkey dick? I don't know. I hope we do, because I want people... I feel like we've had 100 years of good basketball and a lot of years of really shitty basketball. But you did all that good stuff. You hit that subscribe button. I'm rambling here. And that's going to happen when you take an ass beating like the one we took. You're just going to be mumbling to yourself and rambling off in the corner. It happens. Without further ado, let's get into talking about the Indiana Hoosiers. Alrighty then. Hillbilly Monkey. Iowa. What did Iowa do to the Hoosiers? Let's get into talking about it because Iowa plays a certain system. It's no secret what they're going to do. You got a bunch of pasty white guys out there. I mean, and those guys just went out there and they moved the ball around and they shot the threes. And I'm going to say the one thing that really bothers me watching these Indiana games is people saying, well, we got a lot more talent than they do. I don't know what that means. I have come to the point where I watch this Indiana basketball team. I watch these guys, and I think this is what talented basketball is supposed to be. I don't know. We didn't recruit Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer. We didn't recruit any of those guys on Iowa. There's no way we would even recruit those guys. Just not caliber of players that Indiana's looking for. We're looking for the kind of guys that already think they're big somebodies, the kind of 4 and 5 stars that you find at an AAU thing. They're not going to Duke, they're not going to Kentucky, but they got a lot of people blowing smoke up their ass at these AAU events, telling them how great they are and all these things. And let's cobble together a bunch of these kinds of guys. that all think that they're somebodies, you know. Kanan Carlisle, look, I mean, sometimes you can have a guy make a shot and it actually be a negative thing. That was one of the times. Kanan Carlisle, let's get this guy out of here. I mean, I am just so sick of watching this dude. I mean, what kind of shot selection? This dude just jacks up the shot. The only, like, precursor that he has, like whether or not he's going to shoot the ball, is whether or not it's in his hands. Because if he gets it, he's going to fire it up. He was 4 of 12. I mean, I think he hit, even my wife, what was, not to put down my wife, but she knows basketball. She's watched a lot of basketball. But that pass down in the lane, Carlisle, what in the hell are you doing? I mean, you come down. You cannot make a 1-foot pass to Ballo when you're driving in. It was like he had a layup right there. Another play that really got me is like Galloway. Galloway comes up the floor. This dude's been playing basketball at Indiana for 5 fucking years. I mean, I'm sorry, I have to add the cursing in because it just really solidifies what we're looking at here. 5 years of this. And he just comes up to the court and just telegraphs this super easy pass, and the guy just steals it away and goes down. And by the way, that guy, number 3, and I don't know his name, and I'm not even like talking about the stats in this game. The stats in this game do not matter at all, because with 10 minutes left in the game, I mean, you got a quarter of the game to go. I mean, this was just like a run out the clock game. I mean, it was just really like, okay, like Iowa, the game's over. There's 10 minutes left. Indiana stopped playing. The coaches stopped coaching. Everybody just kind of gave up. Here's my point on that Galloway pass. Galloway makes that pass. And yeah, we're going to talk about Bob Knight on this channel because I'm sorry, but if you've been playing basketball for somebody for 5 years, you make a pass like that, I'm sorry. Bob Knight would have told you, hey, go walk to the end of the bench and keep on walking because there's a shower down there and that's where you should go. And think about what kind of a fucking pass that was. Like, oh my God, how can you, like, you're supposed to be, but he's not. Like, Galloway is not a vocal leader, and he's just not. He does not have those capabilities. I've listened to him in podcasts. He's a very he's not soft-spoken, and don't want to say that because nobody wants to be called soft-spoken, but it's like, he's just not the communicator. I'll tell you, one guy I love, Miles Rice. Miles Rice did a whole hell of a lot of good out there. He did some bad, but he was the one guy that was getting to the rim, and he seemed to stay engaged in the game. But these Indiana players do not stay engaged in the game. I mean, it gets to, you got to stay engaged in the game even when you're not jacking up shots. Kanan Carlisle needs to, well, really, they just need to replace Carlisle with Anthony Leal from this point on. Is it going to happen? No, it's not going to happen. You know why? Because whoever the schmuck from Atlanta that brought this freaking loser in, I think Kanan Carlisle is the guy that everybody talks about. He got his picture taken with LeBron James, and that's how he somehow got famous. That's how he somehow got, like, people thought he was a good player. He should go somewhere else like Canada and play basketball because they're probably just clamoring for a guy that kind of like has some type of basketball skill, and he could maybe be a big star there in like Montreal, like play for a college there, or even keep going north, you know, get out into the real sticks, Carlisle, and you'll find people that'll love you. It's just not going to be these people here. It's not going to be here. I don't, and it goes into the coaching. I mean, the coaching has to rip this guy out of the game. All I ever heard in any camp, like having to do with Steve Alford or Bob Knight or anything like that, when you like watch these camps, are like shot selection. It's like, I am the coach. I decide what the shot selection is going to be. So is that the shot selection? Kanan Carlisle, 4 of 12. He is your worst offensive player. He cannot take 12 shots. I mean, that is just the stupidest shit ever. I mean, in a game where Luke Goody's 4 or 5 on threes, Kanan Carlisle shoots like 7 shots. Like, Like that, what kind of coaching is this? It's not coaching at all. It's just pure, I'm a loon. Look at me. I'm a loon now.
Go crazy?
Don't mind if I do.
It's just like that's what I feel like I'm watching when I watch this like stuff. And look, I'm gonna try to make it comical because I mean, if you ever watched the cartoon where the guy's just hitting himself over the head with the hammer over and over again, and all the birds are just going around in circles and they don't even know, like,
oh, you like the game, huh? Do you really like it?
That's what I feel like I'm watching when I watch this team. BLOWOUT, Iowa brought the defensive pressure against Indiana in this game, and they're one of the worst defensive teams. And here's the other thing that's so disheartening about this. Iowa's not even a great team. I don't even think they're a good team. I think they're an average team in the Big Ten. Our cutoff line, and this is why people are so timid to root for Indiana basketball. I'm going to tell you, I get comments every single day, people saying that they don't watch the games. Thank you for watching the channel if you're not watching the games. But every day I get more and more people telling me that they're done with it. That's a bad sign. Like this game, Iowa, there is a terrible defensive team, one of the worst. And you know what they're going to do. And how they affected BLOWOUT early in the game with double teams, how these guys don't pass, how he just got himself. I mean, you'd think that he would be able to really like get to the rim in this game because Iowa doesn't have any big guys, but they double teamed him and they really just swarmed Indiana everywhere, made them uncomfortable in a way that they were like just going to push right past them. And this dude on Iowa, I mean, he's saying in the press conference afterwards, you know, oh, I'm like keeping receipts, you know. It's like, just so everybody knows, I was not the Big Ten Freshman of the Year last year. This guy's keeping receipts, and he's pissed off because Mbako was Freshman of the Year, and this guy's like, hey, look, I'm a way harder worker than him, and you know what? It showed. I mean, it showed. That guy, he was just tearing it up in the game. And look at Mbako. Like, you only have so many chances to play college basketball. This guy is ruining his chances. Like, he thought he's going to be some NBA talent. I don't think so. This guy does not have, not does he have the basketball IQ. He doesn't even have the motor to even play in the NBA. He doesn't even have the motor to play in college. Like, he's not motivated. These guys aren't motivated. And that's why I brought this guy on Iowa up. This guy is pissed off because he was working his ass off and it got handed to Mackenzie Mbako last year. Yeah, Mbako had a pretty decent freshman season, but I will say Mbako does not engage himself on the defensive end of the floor at all. And when things are not going right for him, he just hangs his head, puts a towel on top of his head and goes and walks his ass to the end of the bench and goes, well, that's it for me today. You know, I had a little bit of a hard time. People are pushing me a little bit. And you know what? I just don't want to do it. I mean, is that what it's like dealing with these kids? Is that what it's like dealing with them? They just don't want to do it. I mean, is that how they're motivated? There's guys on Iowa they're not making big time NIL money, and they're just out there. They're just the kind of guys that are like not getting paid. They got a chip on their shoulder. It's kind of like our football team. They're just going to come out there and just kick your ass because you know what? The coach is in there going, look at all these motherfuckers over here. He's making $2 million. He's making that. He's making that. Yeah, let's make them pay as a team. And that's exactly what they did. And they found the grit and the determination and the desire and just blew Indiana right off the court. Just blew them right out of the Iowa Hawkeye Arena there. Just blew them right out. To the point where 5 minutes into the second half, you knew like this wasn't even a game. And there's just been far too much of this go on in Indiana. Like year after year, we watch bullshit team after bullshit team play for bullshit coach after bullshit coach. Now, like Tom Crean had his time and had some good years. Archie, he was a guy just banging his head against the wall. And then he had the COVID year. Then, he just kind of got screwed and he was never going to have success. He didn't have the personality to do it. Then we hired this guy who our athletic director didn't even hire. Check out my band video if you want to know more disgusting stories about Mike Woodson, who, look, Mike Woodson's like one of the guys. Mike Woodson's one of the kids, He's, hey, we're going to have fun. We're going to keep it positive. I'm not going to play his press conference. He gets a little testy in the press conference because they were talking about what a bad game they played and all this stuff. Oh, I didn't think we played that bad. I didn't think we did that bad. I mean, why are you don't need to defend bad play. I mean, the hubris and the stupidity of this guy and the years he spent in the NBA, that's exactly what did it. Indiana, we cobbled together a bunch of this talent for this loser coach that just cannot get it together. We cobbled this talent together, paid all these guys for Mike Woodson, and look what we got. And look what we could have. We could have Dusty May here right now. We could be watching Dusty May coach this team. Danny Wolf would be playing for IU, and we would be in the running to win the Big Ten. We could have made that change last year. But you know what? So many people, so much heat on Mike Woodson that the rich powers that be, Steve Ferguson, Quinn Buckner, you had to put out a press release. No. Mike Woodson's staying. And all you fans out there, fuck you. Because the true fans, they root for the team even when they hire a coach that's smoking cigars and drinking and not going to recruits' houses, not going to the meetings he has to go to. Yeah, the true fans root for that motherfucker. The true fans do. They go, yeah, we don't give a fuck if you're smoking and drinking at work all day long and you don't give a flying fuck. You don't care, do you? Right? Mike? Huh? God, just a bitch-ass organization. Buckner, Woodson, Ferguson. These guys should be ashamed of themselves. And they're lining their pockets with it. They're lining their pockets with Indiana money. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. Driving an institution that started far before they were ever here. Driving it into the ground because they had something to do with it back in the 70s, driving it into the ground. Would you do that to your favorite company? Would you do that to anybody? Would you do that to your own business? No. If you build it and you made it for yourself, you'd put all the time and effort, and you would know you cannot ever in this world receive shit for free like the way that Mike Woodson has, the way that he got this job. You cannot receive a job like this for free and appreciate it. That's just all there is to it. Kurt Signetti, he appreciates it. This motherfucker right here, you know why he appreciates it? Because he worked at IUP. He took a chance on himself when Nick Saban told him, hey, you go down to Division II and you don't have success, that could be a real, and he said, no, I have to bet on myself and I got to go down to the lowest ranks and prove myself. And that's the only way I'm going to be satisfied with myself, with the desire that he had to be a great football coach. And this motherfucker right here got handed this job for free. And I think we all see how that's turned out. You get shit for free in life, you never appreciate it. You never do. I don't mean to be like, I thought I'd make more jokes in this episode. And I start out the episode and I think, because Hillbilly Monkey, tell us what you thought of the game. Tell us what you thought of everything. I'm sitting here rambling on and on. But Indiana basketball, it is the type of thing that Like right now, it's just like, it's so hard to dip your toe in the pool of Indiana basketball because you always know there's a game like this right around the corner. And I've watched a lot of basketball this year. I know UConn got blown out by a team. I know Florida blew out Tennessee the other night. Blowouts happen. They really do. You know, it's basketball. That does happen. With this team, this has happened consistently over a period of time where it's pretty consistent. And when we play good teams, most of the time, we are going to get our ass handed to us. And what did you think about it all?
Carved from the sands of the Wabash River and formed into a monkey lamp that's sold at Home Goods. It's the Hillbilly Monkey Perspective on Indiana Sports Connection.
Well, you're damn right. I mean, Iowa, they got shooters from the outside. It's like you know exactly what Freaky Fran is going to do over there. And look, Freaky Fran, he wasn't even all freaky today because they beat our ass so bad, he didn't even have to be freaky. Normally, he's yelling and running out on the court and doing all kind of other crazy kind of bullshit. But Freaky Fran, he wasn't even to be seen. So, you know, I guess that's the secret sauce to get Freaky Fran, you know, to settle down is just, you know, have him play Mike Woodson's team and you would watch an ass beating like that. And I'll tell you, it was even satisfying to Freaky Fran.
Yeah, I did notice that too. He was not himself. And it's because we let him whoop our ass in a way that was so disheartening. We got Illinois tomorrow night, and look, they just lost to USC. So I hate to know the kind of ass chewings that Brad Underwood is laying on that Illinois team right now, because those guys are going to then in turn take that ass reaming that they get from Brad Underwood, and they're going to lay that ass whooping right onto all of our Indiana Hoosiers come Tuesday night. I mean, we'll talk about the Illinois game tomorrow. We'll do a preview of that and talk about more of that. So yeah, this is just another crazy weekend, and it really gives you the idea that Indiana basketball, we're nowhere near like the 5-game winning streak and all this bullshit and being 4-1 and all this. We were playing weak teams, and it is hard to run this channel because I have to be positive. When we win games, I don't want to be negative on here all the time, even though the overlying like show is that Mike Woodson must go, and that has been the theme of this show since like last January. Did we do a lot of things? But we see no actual change. We did a lot of things in the offseason. We paid a lot of people. We brought a lot of things. We did a lot of things. People were telling me all through June, July, and August how great we were going to be. Just look at these guys. Just look at these guys. There's no way they're going to be bad. That was so many comments that I'm like, you know, I agree with you. I agreed with you then because I'm like, we just got to wait and see. And now we wait and saw. And what we saw was really, really freaking bad. So thank you for joining me today on Indiana Sports Connection. Until next time, stay classy out there, Hoosier fans. Stay with me.